Other pieces of note are the species exclusive to Skull Island, including the Wetasaur and the Trapus mordax, or the bat creatures as we know them. While the Wetasaur sculpture was primarily the work of Greg Tozer, Pete later rethought them and wanted them to have kind of tumorous growths, a la Gothmog. So I was tasked with adding these growths with sculpting epoxy onto two separate maquettes, making them into two distinctly different creatures. Once Peter had locked off a design maquette by David Ming, work on the flying creature began. More so than any other creature, the final sculpture of this one was driven by the muscle study. At almost full scale, the wing fingers and tail were truncated in the sculpture to be digitally lengthened later. The head and teeth went through many changes, but once Pete was happy, I sculpted the final head from the musculature up. First with the mouth closed, then finally with it open in full screech. Beyond the dinosaurs, there were still a few practical things to be sculpted that would actually see the lens of a camera. There were lots of piercing type prosthetic pieces for the natives of Skull Island. Oops. And there was the old crone makeup sculpted by Rick Fortuna. The Moko makeup was blocked out by the makeup artist based on an approved and consented design, and then I finished it up. While I didn't go on set this time to apply makeup, I was cast as Jack Black's body double. I was only called once, but for this I was dressed in full Carl Denham wardrobe, and I held the Skull Island map and turned it in front of the camera. In the end, I think you catch a glimpse of my thumb.
That was me, folks.
But the next time you have a King Kong trivia night with your friends, you can say, "Did you know the guy playing that thumb is wearing Carl Denham socks?" The only full-size practical creature that was made for the film was a now extinct, large, flightless New Zealand bird, the moa. I sculpted the legs for this beast, which was performed by my old K&B pal, Kevin McTurk. It was shot and cut from the film, but it was later reinstated for the extended cut. The only other full-size sculpture was a lighting eyeline reference of the face of Kong himself. With the earliest of computer milling technology, the face was milled out of a big piece of polystyrene, and then we simply covered it with clay and textured it. A thankless task at best, and in the end, it never even left the workshop.
You suck!
Of course, by the time we sculpted that full-size Kong face, I was more than familiar with his face and could have sculpted one in the dark. Just prior to that, I had spent months sculpting his face over and over and over and over again for the expression reference models for Digi. These started with 6 clay sketches roughed in by Jamie Beswarek. As these were handed over to me to finish, the expression request list grew and grew. And this became the first, and to date only, time that I've used computer assistance in sculpting. They began as a clay pour of Kong with a neutral expression. I had a live camera feed set up over my shoulder and a monitor just to this side. On the monitor was an image of the neutral face, but using the mouse I could toggle back and forth between the neutral face and the actual face that I was sculpting. So it then became a mission of keeping track of every line and wrinkle in every expression as they contracted and expanded. And all of this while displaying very distinct archetypal expressions. It was pretty cool actually, but by the end I'd sculpted 18 of these heads. So yeah, I was a little over it by then.